For most human beings, their genius sparks once in a way. Can somebody be in the zone all the time? Of course. I can tell you one secret, but I'm on camera. There are three ways to function in a way that other people think is miraculous. So they become the great players that they are. They even mentally deciding how the other guy should act.
When I've felt a real sense of joy, where there's been a slight switch in my experience, or at least a different kind of experience, has been what sports people might call being in the
zone.
In the zone, of course, yeah. And maybe an overused expression, but at least there's an experience there where momentarily you feel a little bit as though your influence is reaching further out than your small space.
See, you may be in the zone and throw this… what do you call that one?
Which one's that?
The pear.
The rugby ball, yeah.
It's not a ball.
Yeah, it's a ball. Yeah.
But it's not round.
No, it's still a ball. Still a ball, yeah.
Okay, when you in the zone and you threw it perfectly well, and I am on the other side with soap on my hands or butter on my hands and it just went off. Zone doesn't work, isn't it? Huh? You may be in the perfect zone, but it's a team sport. Everybody's got to be in the zone. There might have been situations where everybody were boom at one moment, all right? So why is it it's happening only once in a way? Because for most human beings, their genius sparks once in a way. Suppose the sun, which is the living source of energy for all of us, no, it's the only source of energy for this planet. If the sun came up once in a way, not every day, what would be life? Right now, that is what it is even with the individual. Every day, or maybe the English won't agree with me, every day the sun doesn't come up for them, but it's coming up. It may be shrouded by the cloud, but it is coming up all the time. I'm saying everything that's life process here. Let's say, like your zone, if your heart beat once in a way, what would happen to you?
Yeah, it wouldn't last long.
Yes. So, this once in a way you're in the zone is something that must go. Oh, can somebody be in the zone all the time? Of course. You must be in the zone you want to be. Because when it comes to physical performance in the world, there are many factors. Okay, there are many factors which all of it may not even be in your perception. But when it comes to inner nature, being in the zone must be every moment of your life, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because there's only one ingredient, just you. Outside, see this many people there in the room. If this room, this atmosphere has to be pleasant, all these people must cooperate, otherwise if she starts freaking, what do I do? We can manage her, but still the atmosphere in the room will go. But my inner atmosphere, there's only one person. Is that person willing, I'm asking? Is a willing person or unwilling person? You must make him willing, that's all it is. Because the only and only thing that you have is life, and how wonderful you keep it within you is all you can do. Rest of it in the world, we do something.
It's really interesting because my position specifically, there'll be moments where it's absolute chaos and you're performing the most difficult, challenging skills with all kinds of interfering factors coming in from opposition teams to everything, and you do it effortlessly in a flowing, beautiful way. And then the referee blows his whistle and says, right, now you have a penalty, which involves me having to kick a ball through the post in a kind of golf fashion. I would go from being that genius kind of version of myself to suddenly to something I'd practiced so many times and felt like I knew so well, and yet I'd moved from chaos and all kinds of complexity externally to simplicity externally and make it so complex. Because suddenly from that moment you go from a clarity, like you said, a simplicity, to an absolute complexity internally, whereby it's suddenly about what will people think if I miss this, what if I, heaven forbid, I let my team down, etc., etc.
If you think what people will think, the ball will go into the people only.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, very true, yeah.
So I can tell you one secret, but I'm on camera, what to do? I'll tell you anyway.
Please.
But the opposition may also learn this.
That's okay. We'll work that out when we come to it.
When you want to kick that dead ball, what you do is, you exhale with your mouth open and use this as a way approximately 17 to 20 inches, somewhere there, you focus your eyes there, that empty space, okay? You can do this 3 times. There is something else which is called as Akash, which gets activated because of this. In this, you are naturally in the zone. See, there are 3 ways to function in a way that other people think is miraculous. One thing is to become all body, that you don't have a mind at all, just all body. Like, I don't know, I shouldn't use names probably. There are some great players in soccer where you see them, you can see they don't have a mind, they're just all body. And they'll do miraculous things that nobody ever thought they could do at that moment when they're like that. And they're getting into that zone more often than others, so they become the great players that they are. Another way is a very powerful mind which visualizes and creates what it wants. That's another way to be there, which is powerful, but I don't know how many people have the necessary discipline and focus to do that. A few do that. Some people who build the game have this thing, they even mentally deciding how the other guy should act. Many times you've seen this in rare moments, particularly in soccer and also in cricket game. The bowler decides how the batsman should act, you know?
I recognize that.
It's really wonderful to see that, because like Sachin Tendulkar was saying, he was asking me a question in a conference. He says, Sadhguru, like before, like right now there's the last ball of the game and I need to score a century or something important need to happen. Even before I play the shot, I see that this is the ball that the bowler will bowl and I'm already ready with that shot and that is how he will bowl and that's how I will hit. So this is using the mind to see that guy does what you want, all right? That's another way. Another way that I just now told you is to not worry anyway body is well trained, mind is trained for the game, don't mess with that in the game itself, that preparing the body and mind should happen before the game, okay? You don't go and train on the match pitch. So, there is another type of intelligence called consciousness. Consciousness is that intelligence which is unsullied by your memory. Body is full of memory, it's taken this form only because of its evolutionary memory, genetic memory, karmic memory, like this. Because of memory, this body has formed a shape. Because of memory, your mind has taken a certain shape. But there's another intelligence which is untouched by memory, which is the fundamental and the most powerful form of intelligence in the universe. If you touch that, your body and mind should be well trained anyway to play that game, otherwise you cannot play. But once you touch that, you play in such a way which is magical for other people. There is no answer with anybody around you. There are many times certain sport reaches that place, knowingly or unknowingly the player gets in and they themselves are surprised. I've seen this sometimes, the tennis players, they're surprised, did I make this shot? They can't believe it themselves because they got into that space.
That's, for me, beautifully explained. Thank you. Sadhguru, thank you very much for being part of the I Am podcast.
Thank you very much.
And we couldn't wish you better with the Conscious Planet Safe Soul movement, and for sure we will be
The 100 days.
The 100
Get all
days.
the sports people in this country
We shall push
to
that
say
message.
something about soul.
We shall definitely push that message for sure, and I will be involved too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
When we talk about Sanatan Dharma or the land of seekers, the issue is it has also got a lot of infirmities. Like at one end you have spirituality, talking about union of an individual with God, and on the other hand, you have infirmities like caste. So my question to you, Sadhguru, is is the power of spirituality of Sanatan Dharma. Does it have the potential to resolve and do away the iniquity which caste perpetuates, sir?
See, right now all these people are sitting here, ask them, did they even think to find out what is the caste of the person who is sitting next to them? They've not, because they're in yoga.
But then 90% of the Indian politics and political parties do that.
Politics is a number game. So they will do everything that they have to do to get the numbers. But there is a clear sign in Indian politics that today's younger generation does not vote by caste per se. They are going beyond that. And there are some studies saying over 40 to 45% of the people never vote by caste. The other communities, wherever there is little strife, they vote by the community because they need the community support when there is strife. Otherwise, they also vote beyond the caste. It is definitely going to happen, probably in another 2 or 3 elections, caste will become a very minor aspect, it will not be a major aspect. இந்த தஞ்சாவூர் மாவட்டத்துல இந்த ஈசா நாற்றுப்பண்ணையில இருக்கிறோம். இந்த நாற்றுப்பண்ணை ஒரு வித்தியாசமான நிலையில வந்திருக்குது. என்னத்துக்குன்னா நம்ம தன்னார்வ தொண்டர்கள் ரொம்ப ஈடுபாடா இது வளர்த்திருக்கிறாங்க. அதுல என்ன ஸ்பெஷல்னு நீங்க கேட்கலாம். முக்கியமா என்னன்னா இது எல்லாமே நம்ம ஆர்கானிக்கா வளர்த்திருக்கிறோம். இதுல எந்த விதமான ஃபர்டிலைசர் இல்ல, எந்த உப்பு போடல. இதுக்கு வெறும் மண்ணு வளமா வச்சு வளர்த்திருக்குது. இந்த வருடம் மகாத்மா காந்தியுடைய 150வது பிறந்த வருடம். இதுக்காக நம்ம எல்லா ஈசா நாற்று பண்ணைகள் நாம் இதுக்கு ஒரு புது பேர் கொடுக்கிறோம். என்னன்னா மகாத்மா கிரீன் இந்தியா மிஷன் அன்னு எல்லாத்துக்கும் பேர் கொடுக்கிறோம். இது வெறும் 35 நாற்று பண்ணை மட்டும் தான் இருக்குது இப்போ. ஆனா நாம் இந்த வருடத்துல இல்ல 2 வருடத்துல இது 350 நாற்று பண்ணை ஆரம்பிக்கணும். நாம ஈசால இருந்து ஆரம்பிக்கணும். நம்ம ஒரே ஒரு விஷயம் புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். ஆறுன்றது நீருக்கு மூலம் இல்லை, ஏரின்றது நீருக்கு மூலம் இல்லை, கிணறுன்றது நீருக்கு மூலம் இல்லை. நமக்கு ஒரே ஒரு மூலம்தான் இருக்குது, மழை. வந்த மழை ஏரியில சேர முடியும், கிணறுல சேர முடியும், ஆறுல சேர முடியும். இது பூமிக்குள்ள போய் வந்து சேரணும். இப்ப என்ன இருக்குது, மேல ஓடுது. என்னத்துக்கு மேல ஓடுது? பூமிக்குள்ள போகணும்னா தேவையான வேறு, இந்த நுண்ணுயிர் எல்லாம் செயல்பட்டு இருந்தா தான் வந்த மழை கீழே இறங்குது. கீழே இறங்காம இப்ப மேலேயே ஓடுது. நம்ம காவேரி வலயத்துல தோராயமா 85,000 ஸ்கொயர் கிலோமீட்டர் ஜமீன் இருக்குது. இதுல 3ல ஒரு பாகம் நாம மரங்களா பண்ண நிழல்ல இருக்கணும். மண்ணு வெறும் மரங்களே போட தேவையில்லை. நாம மரமும் செய்ய முடியும், அது நடுவில் விவசாயமும் நல்லபடியா செய்ய முடியும். இன்னொரு விவசாயி நான் பார்த்தேன், அவரும் ரெட் சாண்டர்ஸ் மரம் வச்சாங்களாம் 12 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி. இப்போ அவருடைய மரத்து விலை 25 கோடி லட்சம் இல்லை. இப்போ ரெட் சாண்டர்ஸ் கிளியர் பண்ணியாச்சு. நாம இதுல இந்த லிஸ்ட்ல இருந்து நீங்க போட்டுக்கணும் தானே. உங்க விவசாயத்தை கூட ஒரு 10 மரம் போட்டான் பெரிய இன்சூரன்ஸுக்கு மேல தானே இது, இல்லையா? எல்லா விவசாயிக்கும் இது கிடைக்கணும் தானே. இந்த மர விவசாயம் என்ன, இதனால மண்ணில் என்ன நடக்குது, பயிருக்கு என்ன வருது, நமக்கு என்ன வருது, பொருளாதாரத்தில் எல்லாமே டீட்டெயிலாக நாம் உங்களுக்கு பிளான் கொடுத்துடுவோம். நீங்கள் உங்கள் கூட இருக்கிற எல்லா விவசாயிக்கு இது சொல்லிக் கொடுக்கணும். இது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப தேவையானது. நம்ம தலைமுறைக்கு இருக்கிற இது ஒரு மகத்தான பொறுப்பு. நாம் நல்லபடியாக கடைப்பிடிக்கணும். இந்த காவேரி கூக்குரல் மக்களுடைய இயக்கமா நான் இருக்குது. இதுக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டில் மட்டும் இல்லை, நாட்டில் மட்டும் இல்லை, 112 நாட்கள் இருந்து நமக்கு இப்போ உதவி, இந்த மரக்கன்று வளர்ப்பதற்காக உதவி வந்துருக்குது. இது ஒரு மகத்தான ஒரு விஷயம். நம்ம தமிழ் மண்ணு நீர் காப்பாற்றணும் இந்த நாட்டில். இது ரொம்ப முக்கியமான ஒரு படி. விவசாயம் எல்லாமே ரொம்ப உற்சாகமா இருக்கிறாங்க. அரசாங்கம் செய்யற உதவி செய்யறதுக்கு உறுதியா இருக்கிறாங்க. கட்டாயமா எல்லாமே சேர்ந்தது வேண்டி